Okay. So we're starting shortly. Please, can everyone be seated? Thank you so much. If you're in the booths, please do leave the booths and get seated. I still see some people in some of the booths. The Beauty Hut booth, the Vind booth, the Get Equity booths. Please, let's get seated. Thank you so much. All over the world. And of course, to those of us here, I greet you and send a hearty welcome. My name is Elton, and I am your host for today's showcase of innovation and entrepreneurship. We have an exciting lineup of 12 startups ready to showcase their groundbreaking products. And with that said, welcome to ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator 2023 Demo Day event. Put your hands together. Let's get a shout. Come on, come on, come on. Lovely. We're just getting started. You're going to see so many things that will blow your mind today. So just get ready to be wowed. First off, we have a very special welcome address by Oyin Solebo, the Managing Director of ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator. Please join me in welcoming her to stage with a resounding round of applause. Come on, we can do better than that. Come on, come on. Let's give a shout. Over to you, Oyin.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the second ever demo day for the ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator. My name is Oyin Solebo, and I am honored to be the Managing Director for this accelerator. Thank you so much to everyone that is joining us online, and thank you all of you for joining us today. So Demo Day marks the end of 13 weeks in which 12 startups, 25 founders have worked tirelessly to take their companies to the next stage of growth. And I'm really excited that they are having the opportunity today to tell you all about how they are benefiting the African continent. But before we get started, please allow me a few minutes to tell you about Techstars and our partnership with ARM. So firstly, Techstars. For any of you that are not aware, we are a global platform for investment and innovation. And we started with 3 simple ideas: that entrepreneurs create a better future for everyone, that collaboration drives innovation, and that great ideas can come from anywhere in the world. So we are really delighted to have a program here in Nigeria to demonstrate the talent and the innovation of our continent. We exist to help entrepreneurs succeed. Our mission is to enable everyone on the planet to contribute to or benefit from entrepreneurs' success. And we do that through our accelerator programs like this today, but also through our venture funds and by connecting founders, investors, and corporates across cities to build thriving tech ecosystems. And we're really proud to say that at a time when we all know that VC funding has declined, Techstars is the most active pre-seed investor in the world. And our superpower really is our network. So we were founded in 2006, but we have 54 accelerator programs across 38 cities in 14 countries. They are supported by around 4,000 active mentors, many of which are in the room today. And to date, we have run almost 400 accelerator programs in which our founders are given capital, program, and connected to a global community of fellow founders, mentors, and investors. Over 4,100 companies have graduated from one of our accelerator programs, and they have a cumulative market cap of over $108 billion. Not only are we the most active pre-seed investor in the world, but we are the most active startup investor in Africa. Now, our founders, thank you. Thank you. Our founders can join any one of our programs across the world, but I'm of the opinion that it really is this accelerator program that has propelled us over the line. And the accelerator program would not be here today if it wasn't for our partnership with ARM Labs, which is an innovation and venture building program out of ARM, Nigeria's leading non-banking financial institution. It's ARM's commitment to innovation that allows us to run this program. So thank you very much, ARM. And we will be hearing from the Deputy Group CEO, Sadiq Mohammed, later on in the program. So ARM Labs plus Techstars came together and created the ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator. And in just 2 years, we have invested in 24 African startups. Last year, we put out the call that we were looking for the most incredible early-stage startups that were using technology, data, and intelligence to serve a customer that's growing in terms of size, use, and digital access. And we are very proud to say that we found 12 such companies that you will be hearing from today. So these companies span fintech, e-commerce, logistics, clean tech, B2B SaaS, and health tech. And they are operating in Nigeria, Ghana, and East Africa. So with that, thank you very much for joining us again, and I really hope you are as inspired by the startups as I am. Thank you.
Put your hands together for Owing one more time. Thank you, Owing, for those inspiring words and for the insight on the achievements of Techstars globally and here in Nigeria for the last 2 years. It was really, really insightful. Awesome. How many of us are excited already? Let me hear a shout. I can't hear you. Okay, so next up on our agenda, we have an investor panel on the state of innovation and VC funding in Africa. And this panel is going to feature 3 of the biggest titans in the ecosystem. Please, with a round of applause, welcome our first panelist to the stage, founder, partner of Beta Ventures, Ovo Emerekpo. Let me hear the round of applause. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for being here, sir. We're so happy to have you. Okay, so our next panelist is the general partner of an investment fund for risk takers and dent makers. Please welcome Biola Alabi of Acacia Group. We can do better. Awesome. Awesome. So our final, okay. So Biola is not here. We'll welcome them when she comes. Our final panelist for the stage is one of the most prolific angel investors in Africa and a big brother to many in the ecosystem. Everyone's going to be excited to welcome the founding partner of Voltron Capital. Put your hands together for Olumide Soyombo. Let me hear that shout. Thank you so much for being here, sir. We are happy to have you. And of course, moderating this panel is the Managing Director, ARM Labs Lagos Accelerator, the indelectable Owing Solebo. Please give her a round of applause. And with that said, Owing, over to you.
Thank you very much. So I know Biola is here somewhere, so if you can hear me, please do join us when you are ready. But thank you very much, both of you, for joining us. So we all know that last year there was a decline in VC funding, not just in Africa, but across the world. And depending on which report you read, you will see that VC funding in Africa was down 20 to 40%, that there were 50% less unique investors, and that there was something like a 30% decrease in the number of deals. So the numbers sound a little bit scary. However, I'm hoping that our panelists can share a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. That I'm not sure their faces suggest that there is, but we'll see. But we have had some good news, right? So Techstars invested more last year than they did in any other year. Thank you. Many of us would have seen that Partech, the global VC, announced a record close of their second fund yesterday at 300 million. And the African Venture Capital and PE Association predict that LPs are going to be allocating more money to African funds this year. So to really break that down, I would like to ask the Edmonds of venture capital some questions. So first of all, you, Olumide, the funding winter, is it really as bad as it sounds? And what challenges and perhaps opportunities does it bring?
Hello, and thank you for having me again. I mean, it's real. Even if I look at Voltron and look at how I've been investing, Voltron Capital, we started deploying from the first fund in late 2021. And between 2021 to 2022, we did 54 deals, which was coming to about a deal a week, right? But now I'm on a deal a month, right? So even from our own fund, we've seen that slowdown. And I think, for me, maybe I'm an incurable optimist, and I guess you have to be one to be doing VC in the first place. I think that there are some huge opportunities from the winter. That's what I want to say. It brings us back to building with the right mindset. It brings us back to building real businesses, right? It seems like in the zero interest environment and when everything was rosy, everybody wanted to be a founder nobody was even afraid to build again, right? Everybody was like, oh yes, I'm a founder, I'm leaving, I'm going to build. But what are you really building? And no more focused on unit economics anymore. I always tell people that you can sell a $10 product for $9 and always grow, right? But what happens when you run out of cash? And we've seen that happen. But we've also seen the solid founders who have built real businesses, focused on positive unit economics, focused on offering real value, shine through. And I think it gives us, the venture capital winter in Africa more especially, gives us an opportunity to decide and reset how we want to build. We were seeing scenarios where certain companies receive pre-seed funding, and then post their pre-seed funding, they're raising at $25, $30 million vows. And that's the same valuation a similar company is raising in the US market or even in Latin America market. Those valuations are not going to work here if we are going to build for the long term. And I think we are now seeing that reset and that ability to build with an end in mind. So I think that's really the silver lining from the winter, as you call it.
Okay, thank you. So there is a silver lining there, and although, I mean, Olumide's spoken about founders focusing more on solving real problems, focus on unit economics. Is there any advice you would give to the founders in the room about how they can weather the funding winter?
Thank you. Thanks for having me here and for continuing to invest in our founders. In terms of advice to founders, I think it's, like Olumide said, back to basics. Focus on unit economics. Focus on providing real value to your customers. I remember 2 years ago, there was a company we actually invested in, and trying to help the founders build their sales book. And the founders thumped their nose at a category of customers. And I quote them like small naira or dirty naira. I don't think any founder in this present day will thump their nose at a customer looking to pay you money for your product or service. So it's those fundamentals that we now encourage our founders to go back to, building your business on the backs of customer satisfaction. You have to know your customer journey, their buying habit, how they prefer to buy your product, where they prefer to buy your product, what time they prefer to buy your product. It's all about the customer. Because if you can get that right, then by chance, by luck, you will not need to go for Series A, Series B, Series C. You will have gotten to break even, and then you can take your time to build your company.
So focus on your customer, perhaps as your first investor in your business. Olumide, you spoke about valuations, about the fact that in the US, you're rubbing your head already, valuations are significantly higher than they are in Africa. So can you perhaps tell us why that is fair and what advice you would give to the founders as they are trying to negotiate fair, whatever that means, valuations with investors.
Okay. I think, you see, the valuation discussion, I started smiling, right? Because we're all trying to, even investors invest in business not because they like you, right? They're supposed to turn a return back to their own LPs. And I was doing some quick math, right? If you look at the amount of venture capital, even in new funds that has been raised. So we have Patek, 300 million. We have Ventures Platform, 45, 50 million. We have Techstars deploying. You have Voltron. If you think about some of the new funds that have been raised, right, you're talking about close to 400, 500 million. To return that fund meaningfully back to LPs, I'm sure they would have set some hurdle rates and target return of maybe 2x, 3x that fund for a good fund return. So you're talking about 1.5, if it's 500 million, about $1.5 billion return. If you assume a 10% holding in each of the companies that they would invest in, we are talking about over $15 billion worth of value that will need to be created. When you put that in mind, right, it means that we probably need to have about 70 pay stacks, right? So you see that the math stops mathing if we don't get in at sensible valuations. But if you think about 2014, when I started investing, and 2015, 2016, when some early players also started investing via syndicates. I started investing at the time where you could do 50K for 15%, right, in certain businesses. I'm not advocating for those days anymore, obviously, but I'm saying many of those syndicates that started out in 2014, 2015, if you think about the journey to date, right, if they were raised as funds, it would be a 10-year lifetime. So the funds would have been thinking about winding down the fund and returning money. And because many of those funds got in very early, like we got in very early at Paystack, got in early at Piggyvest, MoneyPoint. If I was investing via a fund, I would have probably like 25 or 30x that fund return now, because we got in at decent valuations with reasonable amounts. So when the valuations math don't work and we have that amount of funding coming into the market, there needs to be that reset. So founders need to understand that when an investor is looking at your cap table and saying, hey, I'm not looking at the 2%, 3% ownership here. It doesn't return the fund. But you also have to think about, I believe that no sensible investor wants an over-diluted cap table. So it's, what do I really need to build now? How much do I really need now to build? And then once you've created value, you can then raise at a higher value. Okay. So that's the way to think about it from both the investor side and the founder side.
Thank you. That maths is a little bit scary, actually. Although, so how has your investment criteria changed because of the funding winter?
It's building upon what I mentioned earlier. At Beta Ventures, we have a fundamental belief that Africa does not lack viable products or services that the customers need. We believe that the biggest problem and the biggest hurdle for companies to do very well is the distribution strategy they employ to get their products or services into the hands of customers that are going to pay, how they want to pay, when they want to pay, and for the price they want to pay. So we are spending more time, when we talk to companies, we're spending more time trying to understand if the founders understand how to crack that distribution challenge for their product. Because if you can get that, then you've cracked more than 50% of the challenge to your company to become a going concern and a successful company.
Awesome. Thank you. And Viola, thank you so much for joining us. We are honored to have you.
Thank you for having me. And sorry I'm late. I was around, but I guess I missed it.
Okay. So you're jumping straight in as we talk about the funding winter and the implications for the startups in the room. I'd love to hear from you. How has your investment criteria, if at all, changed off of the back of the funding winter?
I think we haven't changed much because we've always been pretty, I guess we've always had different systems in place for us. I mean, I definitely think one of the things we're taking our time, so we're not rushing to write checks. We're really also spending, I think the biggest thing before was if you were interested in a deal, you had to sort of make sure it was very clear you were interested in a deal because there was just so much activity. But I think that now there's more sensibility in the process from both founders and investors. And so I think that we're able to take our time, really able to get to know the company, get to know the founder. I think these are things I'm seeing, but I think that, and we're not doing as many companies in stealth as we used to. So we're definitely wanting to see real traction and post-revenue. It doesn't really matter how little, but that there is some revenue.
Okay, so on that topic of caution, so there have been some accusations that VCs perhaps are partially to blame for the overvaluation of startups or for investing in startups way too early, setting extreme milestones that relied on them fundraising again and again. So for any of you here, what's your take on that? How much responsibility should venture capitalists take on setting both fair valuations but also fair milestones for those founders? Anyone?
I mean, look, I think that it's really easy to say, oh, VCs did this or founders did this. I mean, I think that there was a global culpability in driving activities. And I think that capital is global now. So if we are local investors and we are sitting down just watching the action, that means we're not going to be part of that investment. I mean, we're not going to be part of investment. And we are here. And so I think sometimes there was some external visitors that drove some of the evaluation. I do still think that there's some of that still happening. There's still some founders that are struggling to find the right space of where their valuation should be. And I think sometimes that is not being motivated by investors here, that is being motivated by external investors. And I think this is really where it's important for external investors to collaborate with locals, to have local partners, to really understand the landscape in which we're operating in. We're here every day. I mean, I remember this time last year, I was complaining about exchange rate at 660. So if you're flying in and out, that doesn't affect you. But we're here, and so, I mean, I just finished talking to some international investors that want to partner, and I think that's really the right approach. But I think that when everything was virtual, you didn't need to do that. And I think that really did overheat the market. Global markets were overheated as well. So in a way, it's okay that we were part of that, and now we're here now doing the correction.
Okay, thank you. I mean, on the topic of FX, so Olumide, most of our founders raise in dollars, their milestones are set in dollars, and then they have to explain to investors why suddenly they are not going to make those milestones because of a 50, 60, 70% depreciation. So how are you looking at that? Should our founders be raising in local currency, or should they be hedging? How do they deal with the FX turbulence?
I wish I had that answer. I think I checked rates today, maybe 1859 or something like that. I mean, we're in a room full of many pre-seed companies, right? Seed and pre-seed companies in the room. And I have a slightly different view than many investors have. Maybe because, like I said, I predominantly in the pre-seed space, and I'm usually the first check-in. And as an ecosystem, obviously, the FX and the macros that we are investing in does matter, right? But I see it matters a lot for many of the late-stage companies, right? My decision to invest in PressOne or any of the companies, okay, I had to plug PressOne in there, any of the companies in here is not based on today's macro, right? I'm investing with a view of 6 to 10 years from now. And I say that to invest in Africa, you have to forget Africa. You can't invest in what Nigeria looks like today. If you want to invest in what Nigeria looks like today, then everybody should walk out of this room, right? There's no deal that will be done. If you invest, you have to forget what it looks like today and what it should look like. So I can invest in a very, very interesting founder that I like and think about macro of Q4 2021 or 2024. I'm thinking of what does Q4 2031 look like, right? And if we get certain things right, and that's the bet on venture, that with our increased population, increased internet penetration, and emerging middle class, blah, 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 all the good stuff, that's the upside is then going to make a lot of sense. We're not thinking about macros at 1850 or 60 or whatever the rate is. If we build the long term, if we build in the long term, we build a sustainable business, and the market moves as we think the market should move based on what we've seen in LATAM and India, then it won't really matter at the end of the day.
I think for us, way back in 2021, 22, we actually made some investments in Naira.
Okay.
Yeah, so my partner and I, we have finance background, so it's all about how you structure these investments. Those investments that we made in Naira in 2021, they are doing very well now, even on a dollarized basis. But one of the things we do look for in companies when we want to invest in them is, will they have pricing power going forward? What I mean by pricing power is, as inflation increases and cost of everything increases, will you be able to increase your own product or service, and your core customers continue to pay for that product or service? So we like to look out for those types of companies because that means that you can actually stave off some of these impact of hyperinflation we're experiencing now.
Okay, so I'm hearing both of you. Viola, please.
I think, one of the things we forget very early on when we all first started investing in 2015, 2016, we were doing local currency investments. A lot of us were doing local currency investments. Just last week, I went to the launch of a real fruit factory. We did that deal as Lagos Angel Network and also as Rising Tide, and we did that as a local currency. And then when she was doing further raises, we then did a revaluation of that. So I think that if you're a founder and you're raising and someone is going to give you money in local currency and you believe in what you're building, I do think that you should take a look at it. I do think that for investors, sometimes it doesn't work out that well if you do the revaluation. But I think that it also depends on what type of company, what their growth trajectory is, especially a company that is building for export. I don't see why not. Especially, the most important thing right now is for companies to stay alive, and capital is capital.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you don't have to use a safe. You can use debt. So I think also too, we need to think about different instruments, especially if you want to use local currency. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so to close off, I'm hoping that we can end with some positivity. So from each one of you, I'd love to hear, what are you excited about in the ecosystem? And do you have any final pieces of advice, or one final piece of advice for the founders in the room? Viola, let's start with you.
I still believe that, especially with our population, with the opportunities, there are amazing people still building amazing companies. And I do believe that we can build global companies from right here. And so I believe that our companies are going to be exported. Just on my way in, I was talking to a founder who's building an AI company and helping companies on small businesses on board and use AI. And just the excitement in his voice and the energy, that to me happens every day. And I think that you can't take that away. So I think that no matter what's happening, On the macro level, the population is here, the energy is here, and talent is here. And this is really still the best time to invest when valuations are also sensible. So I'm excited about that. And once again, like I said, the most important thing is to keep your company alive at this point, and so be very flexible in the way you look at capital and in the way you look at investors. Your investors might not be your typical investors at this stage, but also just reach out beyond your normal circle of investors. Wishing everyone the best as they build. Thank you.
I think I echo a lot of Biola's sentiment in the sense that, and I think I spoke to it in my last comment. I think we are lucky that we are at this time where we can build, right? And we are lucky that we're equipped with the funding and on the founder's side, the skills and the opportunity to be able to build at this time. I always say that a developer who started writing code 5 years ago or 2 years ago would not remember that 7 or 8 years ago you had to pay 150,000 naira to InterSwitch to connect to WebPay before you could collect payments online, right? A developer who started writing code today doesn't even know that problem ever existed. And a founder built a business like that in Nigeria, and he was lucky that he could build that. If you wanted to build a paystack today, it's done. That problem is done. So think about how you are lucky enough to be able to build category-leading companies and category-defining companies because you are here now. And I talk about, Viola did echo some thoughts around our population, right? In 2050, Nigeria will be the third most populous country in the world with one of the youngest workforce. If you think about 2050s, it's 3 presidents away with 8 years, right? It's almost here. If you can think of Obasanjo, you can think of what 2050 looks like. And where are these people going to be living? They're going to be living in cities, young population. They're going to be digital first, and your products are going to be used by those people. And that gives me the joy and the privilege and to understand that we are able to back this kind of companies, and founders in the room are able to build this kind of companies. And that's why I say building in Africa now, it's really the best time to build. Because I always say that a good founder is still a good founder, either in a bear market or a bull market. Onyi is still Onyi, even if the markets change tomorrow and rates go up. Onyi is still Onyi. So a solid founder is still a solid founder in a bear market or a bull market. And so we'll still back interesting founders regardless. And finally, I think the word to founders right now is you have to do all you can to keep your company alive, because it's a company alive that can be exited.
True point. I'd like to preface my answer by giving you an anecdotal true story that happened last year. We were introduced to a company, I won't mention the name, but the bottom line was that we were told the company was generating $2 million equivalent in revenues. Less than 2 years of operation. Operating in just 2 states in Nigeria. I didn't believe it. I'm like, no way, it's impossible. We went into the books, the bank statements and everything, and this founder was actually generating that type of money in 2 obscure states in Nigeria. I was completely blown away. Unfortunately, we didn't invest in the company because of corporate governance challenges with the founder. But that really reset my expectations, never to discount young, smart founders like you guys. We are very, very optimistic about the founders in Africa, in Nigeria. And I also just want to leave this with you guys also. Just the way you think you have problems raising money, we also have problems finding people to deploy our capital to. We want to deploy our capital. So build fantastic companies that customers want and will pay for, and we'll definitely, be begging you to take our money, at that point. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Biola, Lumide, and Ovo for ending on that positive note and for generally all of that you do in the tech and VC ecosystem. Please join me in thanking them.
Thank you so much to our panelists for sharing insights and expertise on the startup space with us. Please, can you wait for one moment for a brief photo? Thank you so much. Another round of applause for them. I know you've learned so much. We've seen so many things and we've heard of so many things that are happening. And it's actually awesome to get this first-hand experience and insights from these giants in the industry. Put your hands together for them one more time. Okay. We're moving. And up next, we're going to play a quick game. Who's ready to play a game? We have prizes, so nobody's excited about the game. No shouts for the game. Come on, let me hear your voice. Okay. So with me, we're going to test our knowledge on what do you really know about Techstars. And all you need to do right now is scan the code that is being displayed on the screen. So you can see a QR code. They're going to help us with a QR code on the screen. Awesome. So let me know when you're in. If you're in, you can just shout like a whoop whoop. So like, okay. I heard like 2 whoop whoops. No other whoop whoops. Or you could go to menti.com and insert the code. Whichever works for you. So they're going to display the code. Oh, can we have the QR code back on, please? Okay, see, so we have so many people joining. When we have about 30 to 40 people, we'll start the game. So back end, how many people do we have? Okay, awesome, we're all joining. We have prizes, oh, fantastic. We have about, is that 80? Oh, okay, fantastic. I'll leave it open for, okay, so the game starts. So fix your eyes on the screen and pick the answers on your phone. So how many solo founders are there in the ARM Labs Accelerator 2023? Okay, there's like a timer. Come on, you can do this. I think we had about 81 people. Only 52 people have answered. Keep it guessing, come on. How many solo founders are there in the ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator 2023 cohort? And let's see how many people got that. Ooh, only a few of us got it right. Wow. How many? 18? Only 13 people got it. Who was the fastest? Who's on the leadership board? So I see someone is leading with 962 points. So we have Baba Secure. We have followed by Ada and Temi. Okay, let's see if it goes. Next question. Doing well, doing well. So we're moving to the next question. Awesome. So the faster you answer, the more points you get. How many startups are in the 2023 ARM Labs Lagos Techstars class? This is very simple. Come on. Ooh, I see 107 people have answered thus far. Ooh, 112. 14, 106. Oh, everyone has voted. Fantastic. So we'll close it. Let's see. And on the leadership board, we still have Baba Secure, Temi, and Nemo. Oh, okay. Nemo has bumped to number 4, so we'll move to the next question. How many weeks did the 2023 ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator program last? They literally mentioned, Owen mentioned this in her speech. So let's see how many of us remember. Almost everyone has voted. We have 120. 9 more seconds. Come on. How many weeks did the program last? And let's see who's on the leadership board. Only 43 people got it. The board has changed. Interesting. Nice. Next question, please. How many e-commerce startups did the ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator invest in 2023? We're answering. Almost everyone has selected an answer. We have 8 more seconds for this. And only 37 people got the answer right. Awesome. Now we've reached the end, and let's look at the screen to see who our winner is. It's collating. It's collating. It's collating. Let's just give it a second. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna pull another twist. While it collates, I personally, Elton, will come and give the winner the present myself, and we shall announce who won this round of games later on in the program. Awesome. Let's put our hands together for yourselves. Y'all did really good. Y'all did really good. I'll come back with the answers. Awesome. Now to the main reason that we are here. Wait, why are we here? That's a good question. Oh, why are we here? Oh, sorry. Okay. Oluwaduni, why are we here again? Oh, sorry, I forgot. I remember. Okay. The pitches from the 12 startups in the ARM 2023 Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator class. Put your hands together. Okay, I see we're getting excited. So, here at Techstars, we have something we call Mentor Magic, just to give a brief background, where we basically do speed dating for founders and mentors. The founders got to speak with 100 incredible senior level founders, operators, and investors in the space of 2 weeks. From those 100 mentors, each startup selected 5 lead mentors that worked closely with them over the rest of the program. Now, for the course of the program, we're going to have one of their lead mentors come on stage to introduce them. So for our first company of the day, please welcome on stage the lead mentor for Rana Energy, Bode Abifaring. Put your hands together for her.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bode Abifaring. I'm ex-consultant, payment, fintech operator. And today, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Rana Energy. I've had the privilege of working very closely with Abraham and Mubarak over the past 3 months, and I'm very excited to share their vision with you today. So Rana is an energy as a service ecosystem, and what they do is that they are serving the unmet energy needs of SMEs today, SMEs, we're all battling with the same thing, energy needs. So Rana is serving that needs across critical sectors of the SME ecosystem. So how do they do this? Through data, they're able to connect these SMEs to reliable solar systems and affordable long-term financing to give significant cost savings to the alternative fuel that we have today. Another exciting thing that keeps me excited about Rana is that over the past 3 months, they have evolved from a single point system, right, to this budding ecosystem that is going to deliver and scale and provide the impact to give us the brighter future that we all deserve. Do you all agree with me? So it's my pleasure to introduce, I call him Mr. Clean Energy, Abraham Mohammed of Rana Energy. So welcome, Abraham.
My name is Abraham Mohammed. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Rana Energy. Today, I would like to invite you on the Rana ship as we sail towards a brighter and more sustainable future for Africa. Everyone here knows that Africa is in an energy crisis. SMEs in critical sectors are struggling to keep the lights on. And this is leading to $48 billion of annual economic losses. The energy crisis is getting worse every single day. And since the pandemic, the price of backup fuel has surged 6-fold. And actually, as of today, it's surged 7-fold, which means SMEs in critical sectors right now are spending up to 40% of their total monthly cost just on energy. Solar systems should be the alternative, but unfortunately, the high upfront cost makes it unaffordable for most. And so Rana's energy as a service ecosystem is for critical sector SMEs with unmet energy needs. By leveraging data, we're able to integrate advanced solar technology, affordable and long-term financing, and strategic partnerships to build a brighter and more sustainable future where energy is no longer a privilege, but an essential service being delivered in a more affordable, a more cleaner, and a more reliable way. So now let's take Chinedu. So Chinedu is a farmer in Abuja, a small-scale farmer that uses diesel generators that are very toxic and are very expensive. By leveraging data, Rana is able to reduce the investment risk and take away the high upfront cost for the solar system. And instead, Chinedu pays only a monthly lease that is 30% lower than its cost today. The energy market is massive. In Nigeria alone, we spend over $10 billion annually on power, and is largely driven by businesses using generators. And so by 2028, Rana will meet the energy needs of 100,000 SMEs, which means we will be able to transition 5% of the backup fuel market into clean and more sustainable energy. My co-founder Mubarak and I share a passion for fixing things, and this led us to study engineering at university. Combined, we have over 15 years of experience across energy, technology, and manufacturing. And Mubarak has deployed over 500 megawatts of energy systems, which is equivalent to 10% of the Nigeria's grid. So our unique set of experiences, our technical expertise, makes us the right team to deliver on this very ambitious mission. We launched Rana 6 months ago, and in that time, we have hit $35,000 of monthly recurring revenue. We have connected the energy needs of 1 megawatt in a microgrid, as you can see in the background. We've also expanded our energy needs database to 20 megawatts, which is equivalent to 2,000 SMEs, generating $6 million of annual leases for Rana. In addition, through Techstars, we've formed strategic partnerships with the NSIA, the Infrastructure Bank, and ARM, which demonstrates the strong institutional support of the Rana vision. Finally, we have had a strategic partnership with the National Defense College, which is centered around energy security research. And we also have AWS supporting this partnership. So there's companies focused on manufacturing solar hardware, companies focused on installing the solar systems, and companies focused on providing financing. But we've seen that the traditional approaches are not scaling fast enough. And so by leveraging data, Rana is able to integrate each of these components into our ecosystem. Rana becomes an enabler of the energy future. Doing nothing keeps Africa in darkness. And so by 2028, Rana will not only have met the energy needs of 100,000 SMEs, would have done it in a cleaner and more affordable way, transforming critical sectors across healthcare, education, and manufacturing, building sustainable communities, and delivering economic growth for the future we deserve, for the future Africa deserves. And so join us on our mission, and thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Fantastic pitch from Rana Energy. Put your hands together one more time. For our next startup, please welcome on stage the next lead mentor, Managing Director, Leadway Health, Olatokunbo Ali. Let's give her a round of applause. Let's give him a round of applause, rather.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Olatokunbo Ali. I'm the Managing Director at Leadway Health, one of the largest health insurers in Nigeria today. Today, I have the distinct pleasure and honor of introducing 8 Medical. 8 Medical is a healthcare startup that is at the forefront of disrupting one of the major issues that we find in the healthcare industry today. Personally, I have been in the middle of healthcare, providing healthcare solutions to Nigerians for over a decade. And in that period in time, I have met different healthcare startups. I can comfortably and confidently tell you that 8 Medical is one healthcare startup that has come with a difference. I met Ibukun, Dr. Ibukun Tundeoni, a couple of months ago. He walked into my office, and in 2 minutes, I literally was sold. You know, 8 Medical is disrupting and democratizing a very important aspect of the healthcare delivery value chain in Nigeria, access to emergency care. Now, a couple of people had tried this in the past, you know, and they had to deploy so much capital, but eventually failed. But looking at his model and how he has tried to democratize it, what I find is that Ibukun, with a fraction of what people had invested in the past, has actually amassed a whole lot more in terms of assets and ambulance to help him deliver this product. So in our drive, by the second time I met Ibukun, I was already sold, and personally, I actually have invested in his business. Where is he, Ibukun? Okay, yeah. You know, so personally, I said, look, you know what? I have to jump on this train and invest in 8 Medical. He's using technology, he's using industry depth, industry knowledge, and also data, you know, to create access to emergency care in Nigeria. I had 1 minute to do this. There are so many other things I wanted to say, but without further ado, allow me to introduce Dr. Ibukun Tundeoni, the founder of 8 Medical.
You never see me coming through. Emergency, you never see me coming through. Emergency, you never see me coming through. Emergency, you never see me coming
Thank you very much, Doc. Hello? Hi, everyone. If you had the opportunity to choose between life or death, I hear people laughing. If you had the opportunity to choose between life or death, what would you choose? Obvious, life. What if you had the opportunity to choose between your money or your life? How many of us played that game growing up? So the reality behind that question, really, was, can your money buy you life? And the answer is simply no. Because WHO says that 9 out of 10 Africans currently lack access to urgent and emergency care, which has resulted in 5 million deaths yearly due to poor infrastructure, that is line of sight to hospitals, bed spaces, and even ambulances. There's a clear information gap because a lot of people don't know who to call, where to go, and what to do in emergencies. Moreover, there's an underutilized workforce with at least 45,000 available and underutilized health workers, e.g. nurses, paramedics, with no task shifting available. Hi, I'm Ibukuntunde Oni, CEO and founder of 8 Medical, and 8 Medical was born out of grief. I lost 2 of my uncles a couple of years ago. One died of a cardiac arrest at home during Christmas with his family, and the other died in his car on his way to the right hospital from the wrong hospital. He died of an asthma attack. I myself was involved in a road traffic accident, and I was left on the side of the road for 3 hours unable to access care. So I said, enough is enough. And I decided to turn all this pain and problem into a platform that identifies and connects urgent and emergency medical resources to users in need, reducing their wait time from 3 hours to 10 minutes or less. Resources being hospitals, ambulances, personnel, information, and credit on one integrated platform, access through calls, scheduling, and APIs. For context, there are 95% of the global emergency medical market is private. And in Africa, that gives us an $84 billion opportunity. We plan to start in Nigeria, and over the next 3 years, plan to cater to 25% of that market by providing ambulance standby for at least 20,000 events that occur monthly, like today, and transporting for 35,000 hospitals that already exist in Nigeria. Unlike our competitors like Uber and others, we provide ease of access to an integrated health platform that's connected to the hospital and provides predictable, transparent transportation and access to care financing. Most importantly, you're able to access resource decisioning, like what hospital to go to, or if there's even a bed space available at that hospital. Our revenue comes from 3 sources: ambulance response, transport, and standby. And we make money by charging our users $40 transaction fee or a $40 subscription fee, and charge people who plan events like this a $200 fee or $1,200 subscription fee to access our care. In future, we plan to also license our platform to state governments to be able to provide emergency as a service. Our team has a combined experience of 25 years and is uniquely led by myself, a medical doctor and 3-time founder with 1 exit, other healthcare professionals, product specialists, and operators with the same clarity of purpose. Since we joined Techstars, we have grown 25%. We've managed to receive 13,000 calls, complete 10,000 missions, save 7,000 lives, and generate over $650,000 in the process. We managed to do this by leveraging 378 responders, partnerships with 60+ facilities, serving users and others like Hygieia, Reliance, Zafire, Live Sports, etc. To not do anything is a choice in itself, especially not doing anything about 5 million people who have died annually. So if you like to get off your seat and do something, join us as we give 5 million Africans the opportunity to choose life by connecting them to the right people and places when and where it matters most. Thank you.
Wonderful pitch from 8 Medical. 911 for Africa is definitely something we need. Ahead of our next pitch, please welcome on stage the co-founder and co-CEO of Penda, Omolola Onosoya. Put your hands together for her.
Can you? Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So my name is Omolola Oladunjoye. I'm an ex-Jumia staff. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Penda. I will talk about Penda is another thing, but what I want to talk about now is Beauty Hut. So I am one of the mentors for Beauty Hut, and Beauty Hut is a tech-enabled household beauty and personal care company. Now, why is it unique? It's unique because currently we don't have anything like this. We have Jumia, we have Konga. Jumia and Konga are cross-category, so you can do health and beauty. You can also buy products, tech products, mobile phones, appliances. But Beauty Hut is a home for just health and beauty products, authentic health and beauty products. I have no doubt that Shubol and her team would do an amazing job and are doing an amazing job at the moment. I will make Beauty Hut a household name in the country and across Africa as well. I'd like to introduce now Shubuola on the stage to come and tell us more about Beauty Hut.
Skin, girl. Your skin just like pearls. The best thing in the world. Never trade you for anybody else. And brown skin, girl. Your skin just like pearls. The best thing in the world. I never trade you for anybody else singing.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shibwala Oyale, and I'm honored to be here today. I'm the founder of Beauty Hut, a tech-enabled beauty and personal care distribution company in Africa. So living in Nigeria, it's hard. Living in Nigeria, it's hard to be oblivious to the general indulgence on beauty and personal care. I'm sure everyone in the audience today had a shower, and I'm sure all the ladies in the room put on some sort of skincare and makeup before making it out today. So if I told you that 90% of women in Africa spend money on beauty and personal care regardless of their income, you probably wouldn't be surprised. However, if I told you that 40% of all the female-owned businesses in Africa trade within the beauty and personal care industry, you'd probably be surprised. So think about your pharmacies. Most of them are owned by women. Think about your hairdressers. Think about your supermarkets and much more. So this market is huge. However, it's continually underserved. So individuals and businesses alike struggle with three main things when it comes to the beauty and personal care industry. One, access to quality beauty products due to the absence of reliable distribution and limited brand presence on the ground. Two, the high cost on beauty and personal care products that often make people compromise on quality or forego products altogether. And last but not least, the proliferation of counterfeit and substandard beauty and personal care products in the continent that poses a huge health and safety risk to its consumers. So Beauty Hut is the solution. We partner with brands directly and exclusively, leveraging technology to bridge the gap between them and their consumers. So then the beauty and personal care market is huge. Globally, it's worth $650 billion, and at Beauty Hut, over the next 10 years, if we're able to target just 5% of the market, we're privy to a market value of $1 billion. Our business model is simple. On the B2C side, our model ensures that products are readily available to consumers, and for this, we earn a contribution margin of 55%. And on the B2B side, we supply your pharmacies, supermarkets, traditional retail stores, and more to expand their product offering at competitive prices, and for this, we optimize a 30% contribution margin. So currently, our customers are purchasing from wholesale markets, pharmacies, supermarkets, and more. However, Beauty Hut's advantage is that we're able to offer a much wider range of beauty and personal care products at affordable prices due to our exclusive partnerships with brands, while offering convenience through our tech-enabled solutions and supply chain optimization. I spent my entire career in the beauty and personal care industry, working with top international retailers across the world, including Target, Sephora, and Boots. And prior to building this business, I built our proof of concept Skin Science and was able to amass over $400,000 in sales bootstrapped in 2022, which we've now transitioned to Beauty Hut. And alongside me doing this, I'm building this business with an exceptional team of 8 professionals with experience across tech, marketing, retail operations, and procurement. So in the past 3 months, we launched the Techstars program, which we're extremely grateful for. We've amassed over 70 million naira in sales. We have 100+ brands onboarded on our platform, with 100 more to come in the pipeline over the next 2 months. And to date, we have over 2,000 paying customers. At Beauty Hut, our vision transcends mere commerce. It's a passionate commitment to champion African women in an industry they know best. Thank you very much.
Job well done by Shubu of Beauty Hut. Put your hands together for her one more time. Please welcome on stage the CEO of Cream Inc., Anil Atmaramani, who will be introducing our next startup, Swoof. Put your hands together for him as he comes on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anil, the Managing Director, CEO, and Chief Consigliere at Cream Management Advisory Services. I'm here to introduce Swoof. Africa has its own unique challenges in logistics, and Swoof is trying to address that head on. They are developing, or have developed, with the intention of democratizing logistics technology across the sector, and in the bargain becoming the largest logistics network on the continent. The team is extremely dedicated, and over the last 8 months, not only have they moved out of Ghana and Nigeria, but into 5 different countries across the continent. I'm extremely encouraged by their traction, and I'm here to introduce my friend Kwaku, who, despite an injury, is insistent on being here today to share his vision.
Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kweku Tebiri. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Swoof, and I'm very excited to be here. And in fact, I broke a leg to be here. And I'm so excited to share with you how we're going to change logistics across the entire continent. Now, 12 months ago, Swoof was a very different business. We were an aggregator connecting digital commerce SMEs with logistics companies. And after serving more than 20,000 SMEs in Ghana, connecting them to hundreds of logistics companies, and generating more than $100,000 in revenue, we realized a growing yet troublesome trend. 9 out of 10 of these logistics companies were failing. And from a data perspective, it was clear and obvious to us why. A majority of these businesses had extremely underutilized assets, meaning they had vehicles that were either partially idle or completely idle. We also realized they had an extremely high churn of drivers. A lot of them, more than 50% of them, had to replace a single driver every single month. So most of them were running to 12 different drivers in a year. And for some of them, they were replacing entire fleets in a single quarter. And the worst of all is they had tiny margins, which I'm sure you're all aware of. Some of them even negative margins. What that means is all it took was one unmanaged external risk to completely put them out of business. And that's what we were seeing. And the problem is massive. Most of the social commerce digital economy on the continent relies on these logistics operators. And 5% of Africa's GDP, more than $100 billion every year, is lost just due to logistics inefficiencies. So what we realized was what the market needed was not another logistics operator or another tech-enabled logistics delivery business. What was needed was a platform that would build the infrastructure necessary to enable logistics companies maximize the assets that they have, retain the talent that they've hired, and generate the insights they need to make good decisions. So that's where Swoof comes in. Swoof is a cloud-based operating system that enables logistics companies, big and small, to digitize and scale their operations. On Swoof, our customers are able to get access to a suite of technologies that allows them to automate the entire process. On Swoof, they're able to receive orders through APIs and web forms. They're able to automate how they dispatch and route their orders. They're able to improve their customer experience, and they're able to generate real-time insights they need so they don't run out of money. Furthermore, what we realized was necessary is we had to build a financial ecosystem into the platform, embedded finance. On our platform, our customers are able to streamline how they receive and send money, and against that cash flow, we're able to automatically extend to them a line of credit that they would need in terms of emergencies. And beyond automation and financial services, what we believe, truly, is our greatest long-term value is the fact that Swoof creates networks. On Swoof, there are hundreds and soon thousands of drivers that logistics managers can hire that fits their criteria. And on Swoof, because we are digitizing offline capacity, we're able to create a logistics network that is tappable by e-commerce operators and these logistics operators to extend their capabilities beyond their assets, increase their revenue, and access new customers. Now, our core business model, we're a SaaS platform. We make money from subscriptions, commissions, and our partner network. In terms of subscriptions, we make a minimum of $50 per month from our customers, and then they pay 10 cents for every order uploaded to the platform. We make an origination fee of 5% from our financing partners. We do not hold that on our balance sheet. And we go for it to make a minimum of 10% from the network that we are creating. Now, there's some companies that have realized this opportunity and are building similar solutions in the FMCG space. But the true competition that we face, that we've realized, is phone calls, WhatsApp, paper and pen, and spreadsheets. Our value proposition to our customers is very simple. On Swoof, you can make money through our networks, you can save money through automation, you can access credits, and you can hire and actually keep your talent. Now, this is an amazingly incredible opportunity, untapped access to resources. Across the entire planet, globally, there are more than 300 billion packages, parcels, being delivered on a yearly basis. And over the next 7 years, we're targeting 20 countries in Africa and emerging markets, which gives us a very clear path towards getting to an annual revenue of $100 million. And we are the team for this challenge. My team together have had more than 20 years of experience building digital products in this market. Obviously, we went from Ghana to Nigeria. That's who we are. And for logistics, we have more than 10 years of experience building products in that space for management. Our traction proved our decision to pivot. Since we launched 8 months ago, we've essentially 10x the volumes on our platform that our customers generate, growing from 2,000 orders per month last year to 21,000 as of last month, and a projected of 30,000 in this month. And we've also scaled our solution to 5 countries, I forgot to say. Since we launched the Techstars program last year, we've been able to double our revenue, and we're hoping to triple it by the end of this quarter. And I'm also proud to announce we've been able to meet half of the raise that we're targeting. Now, our vision is to become the software platform that moves the continent. We're building the AWS of logistics on the continent. And I'm inviting you to join us in building a market to maximize the trade potential of the continent, to build a solution that makes logistics smart, profitable, sustainable, and intelligent. Thank you.
Well done by Kweku of Swoof. The Swoof team is a reminder that the ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator is a Pan-African program that invests all over Africa and not just Nigeria. Introducing the next startup is the Divisional Head of Business Growth, Sterling Bank. Please put your hands together for Obina Ukachukwu.
Hi, everyone. So I'm not too sure about the people in the audience. If you want me to speak in Yoruba, please press 1. Or if you want me to speak in Igbo, press 2. If you want me to speak in Hausa, press 3. Okay, because I'm confused, you didn't punch anything, I'll choose the default language, that's English. When Mayowa and his co-founder pitched to me, when I met them, they said they were going to solve this particular problem for small businesses. And I asked them, how many people do you currently serve? I think they said over 1,000. And they explained their product stack. I just looked at them and I laughed. I said, why are you keeping yourself so small? You can actually displace Genesis, you can displace Avaya, you can displace all these people from large companies because we're looking to localize our expenses. You know, these guys, they really hit us hard in dollars. And I've called them to come into the bank to begin a POC because I believe that even though they are a solution for small businesses and commercial businesses, they stand a very big chance to disrupt the market. I didn't introduce myself, but I've never invested in a startup that didn't yield multiples because I cheat. I only invest in startups that I buy their services. I'm going to buy PressOne services. In fact, I'm already buying it. So in case you think, Mayowa, can you just come up, meet him? He's a second-time or third-time founder. Oh, third-time founder. Please, Mayowa, come up. Thank you.
It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two.
Hello, everyone. I hope we are enjoying ourselves. I'm Mayowa Kigbenle, CEO of PressOne Africa. Here's what happens when I call my favorite bank.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling your One Customer Center. This call may be monitored and recorded.
Right. So for most of us, hearing this tells us two things. One, it tells us we've just called a reputable business. Obviously, it's a bank. And two, it tells us that this business cares a lot about the quality of service it provides. Now, I'm sure a lot of us here, we run our own businesses. What happens when I call your business? Chances are, like me, you've used a regular line for your business. Chances are, I don't get the same call experience. So, there are so many problems with using a regular line or your personal line for business, but I'm going to focus on just 3 of them. One is, the moment potential customers call your business, it just rings, and then depending on the mood of the person on the other line, there's an hello. Automatically gives yourself away as a small business, right? Number 2 is, you have no access to call recordings. And when those customer issues are escalated to you, and they definitely will, you have no way to verify what actually happened. So you are dependent on he said, she said, right? And thirdly, since you don't know what your employees are saying, how do you actually coach them to say the right things that gets you new business? At PressOne, we have built a modern business phone system that any one of us here can set up in 10 minutes or less. With PressOne, you can set up a professional caller greeting that wows your potential customers and reflects your brand. With PressOne, you have access to all your call recordings across all employees from anywhere. And with PressOne, you can coach your sales team and improve their sales conversation. Now, before PressOne, what did we all use? Most of us just talk to our regular lines. So those are one of the 3 options you have. Second option is you purchase an enterprise solution. Very expensive, unless you're a bank, of course. And it takes weeks to get set up. Third option is you purchase from a foreign provider. You get to pay in dollars. We all know how that feels now, right? In 3 months, we've had over 2,000 business owners move from their regular line to PressOne, right? And for us, that is an amazing story because it validates the first thing, which is business owners actually want to look reputable, they want to look professional. And the most interesting bit of this is it takes about 15 minutes for people to purchase the product within when they hear about it. So which means when I talk to you today, you're most likely to purchase PressOne within the next 15 minutes. And that's amazing. We've built something that people want, for which there are no great alternatives. Our market opportunity here is huge. We have a potential addressable market of $600 million. But our clear focus is we have a pathway to becoming a $12 million per annum business over the next 18 months. And how are we going to do that? We are going to do that by bundling PressOne, embedding PressOne into partners who already serve our target market. Imagine that you get a PressOne number the next time you purchase a domain name for your business. We have put together impressive incentives for our ecosystem of distributors. The team is led by myself and my two co-founders. We are experienced executives with over 15 years each in the tech industry across various functions. Join us as we put PressOne in the hands of every business owner, helping them transform all business calls into business opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayowa. Very relevant product from PressOne Africa. I must say, catchy name too. Please welcome our next mentor on stage, Group Director, Digital Transformation at ARM Holdco, Ina Ologu, as he introduces team Get Equity.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ina Ologu. I'm the Director of Digital Transformation at ARM. And we are the corporate partner that have teamed up with Techstars to launch the Lagos Accelerator program that we have the 12 startups from. I have the absolute pleasure of introducing the fantastic founders of a company called Get Equity. Over the course of history, people who have fought for the rights and advocated for the rights of people have been remembered, celebrated, and revered for their efforts and their sacrifice. Historically, the common African has been excluded from enjoying wealth management services that have historically only been accessible by wealthy Africans and institutional clients as well. And so the founders of Get Equity refused to accept this disparity. And what they have done is not just fight for the rights of the common African to access wealth management services, but they've gone ahead to build a platform that provides access to the common African to access diverse investment opportunities. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome Jude, who is one of the co-founders of Get Equity.
The DJ booth is conducting a troubleshoot test of the entire system.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jude, and I'm the co-founder CEO of Get Equity. Now, ideally, being able to invest in private investments, you're talking from fixed income instruments all the way down to sovereign bonds, and even some of the world's largest global investments has always been a big boys thing. It's always been something that's been available to only the wealthy. At Get Equity, we're trying to make this accessible to the everyday person. Now, there are three major problems with investing that anyone from institutions to even the regular investor sees. The very first is the time to search for good investment deals, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the investors on here could talk about that as well. The second is accessibility. Even when you found those good deals, a lot of things happen. It's either those deals have already been invested in prior, or you don't meet the minimum requirement to be able to invest in those deals. And then the third is the exit horizon. Ideally, the average exit horizon for an investment deal is maybe 10 years. But for the average African, we definitely want to invest in maybe 2-3 years and then get our investment out. Now, Get Equity came up with a solution for this, and it's called the Get Equity Exchange. Now, the Get Equity Exchange is a marketplace that provides access to investment deals that are sourced and provided by our favorite investment providers, and it's accessible to every person at a minimum threshold. Anyone can be able to invest in these deals, from institutions all the way down to every single person here. Now, private investments is a very, very large field and a large industry. In Africa alone, and even in Africa alone, is about 20 billion. In emerging markets, it's about 83 billion. And the focus of Get Equity on this is to start out with Nigeria, which we have, and focus into 10 countries in the next 5 years, generating a yearly return of about 200 million. We started this over 2 years ago, and we started in the venture capital industry. And we've seen that this needs, in the past 2 years, we've seen that this is something that needs to expand into a lot more of private investments in general. Our business model is quite simple. Because it's an exchange, we make money on both sides, on both the buyer and the seller of these investment products. And we also provide an API accessible to your favorite fintechs. Like I mentioned before, we've been doing this for over 2 years. And in that time, we started out in venture capital. And today, there's almost nothing that happens in venture capital in the African market that there isn't a mention of Get Equity. We've done deals of over $3 million, with over 50 investment deals available across 10 countries. We've been able to achieve this with partnerships from some of the largest global providers and even local conglomerates, like the FMDQ, the NGX, ARM, and Sterling Bank. And we're backed by a couple of them. A lot of our competitors exist both locally and internationally, but they tend to focus on one major aspect, which is the private markets itself. The major distinction between Get Equity is because we're coming from emerging markets, we tend to build around an ecosystem of secondary trade from all the different partners in this market. I'm not doing this alone. I'm doing this with my team of over 13 people who are skilled in private capital, risk, legal, and tech. I come from a tech and product background, and I've also been in private capital for about 6 years now. My co-founder, Temitope, led growth at the largest printing company for the past 10 years. And my other co-founder, Chigozirim, has led business and development and legal at some of the largest private companies in the country. Now, the growth of every economy depends on its middle class. And that's why at Get Equity, our core vision is to generate wealth for the growing and global middle class. Thank you very much.
Wonderful pitch from Jude. Let's put our hands together for him. And for the other 5 startups that have gone before him, let's put our hands together for them. Come on, a big shout. We're almost there. Up next, we have a special address from Kenneth Hill, a Foreign Service Officer from the U.S. Department of State. Let's hear her insights on the startup ecosystem in Nigeria. Give a round of applause as we welcome Kenneth Hill.
So many reasons why I want it for you, my love.
Good afternoon. Wow. We should give it up. Another round of applause for those who demoed this afternoon. Thank you for the invitation to come here today to speak with you all on today's demo day. I am just blown away at the ingenuity, the innovation that we just witnessed today. I think the bottom line in what was all described is how each of you all, with your solutions, are democratizing access. And so I want to just thank you all for being defenders of human rights right there. Because giving, clap for it. Because what you all are doing, providing access to these services, is giving Nigerians access to services and products that you believe that they should have access to. So let me just step back. I'm so excited. I felt like, wow, I needed to say that. You all were democratizing access. Yeah, give it up for that. So let me just step back. So again, my name is Kenise Hill. I'm the Deputy Economic and Political Chief here at the U.S. Consulate. And I'm happy to be here today on behalf of our Consul General, Will Stevens, who Oying and I often joke about that he wants to be a techie just like you all. If you've ever met Will, he's full of energy. He's a excited person to get to know. He loves what you all are doing as Techstars in this space, what ARM is doing in your partnership with Techstars. He loves what each of you all are doing as stakeholders in the ecosystem, as techies yourself, as investors. So I just want to thank you for what you're doing. We are excited to partner with you on the work that you're doing. And I'm so happy that the speaker earlier today mentioned real fruit, because we also are a partner in AFI's success. Through our Prosper Africa, one of our major platforms that we use to build out our partnership and relationship with the continent is through investing and co-investing and focusing on our partnerships. And so it's through partnerships like the one we have with AFI, through one of our agencies, that's one of our 17 agencies that's a part of Prosper, USAID, we have invested in her success. And so to do what we're hoping to do today by investing in the future is going to take those partnerships and investments. So I just want to give it up for all of the investors and the mentors who are here today making this success a real possibility. So before I hand over the mic, I just wanted to say that I think that what we want to see is what we're seeing here today. Africans building solutions, not just for Africans, but for the world. You know, we are encouraged by the fact that 5 of the 9 startups from the continent originated here in Nigeria. Like, give it up for that, right? And so I was just texting with some of our colleagues in Washington because they want to come here and they want to see this innovation that we've been bragging about, that we've been talking about. And so we're so proud to be partners with you all, with Techstars. So keep doing what you're doing, giving the Americans something to see, something to write home about, and invest in, because we see tech as one of the major areas for advancing our two-way trade and investment with the continent. So thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for this partnership.
Fantastic address from Kenny's. Give it up for her one more time. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate. So up next, we're gonna have our games again. And I'm going to announce the winner of the first one. Oh, there it is on the board. So leading the charts was Kweku. So congratulations to you. If you can find me, you can get your gift. Okay. So moving on to the next game. It's going to be the same format. We're going to show the QR code. Please scan it and join. That's going to pop up right now. And we're going to be testing on your knowledge about Techstars at a global level and the African VC ecosystem. So get your phones ready. The QR code is coming up now. And come on. You can also go to meti.com to sign up, but you can just scan the code and jump in. When we have about, okay, we can see people are joining. When we have about 50 to 60 people, we'll start.
Just go to the next slide.
Okay. Oh, awesome. I see we have about 91 players already. So I think we are good to go. So, how many accelerator programs does Techstars have globally? Remember, the faster you answer, the higher your points. I think almost everyone has voted. Let's see. So let's see who's leading. Okay, so currently Currently, we have Amanda at the top. But let's see how that goes. So over to the next question. What was the first African startup to make it into a Techstars program? Almost everyone has answered. What was the first African startup to make it into a Techstars program? And let us see. 46 people got it correct. We now have Harold at the top. Okay, on to the next one. Last year, 79% of total VC funding raised in Africa went to only 4 countries. These countries include the following except. So we have Nigeria, Egypt, Ghana, and South Africa. Which one of these countries was the exception? Let's see. We have 5 more seconds. Ooh, nice. 53 people got it correct. And it seems like Harold is still leading the leadership board, followed closely by Kenneth. On to the next question. Which of the following is a core Techstars value? Which of the following is a core Techstars value? So we have move fast and break things, give first, minimize regrets, chase big things. Which of these is a core Techstars value? Five more seconds to answer. Going, gone. Let's see the results. Oh, so we have 38 people who got that. And Harold is still leading the board. And on to the final question to determine our winner of the second prize. What was the most funded sector on the African continent in 2023? What was the most funded sector on the African continent in 2023? EdTech, FinTech, Health Tech, or Climate Tech? Our winner is Harold. Put your hands together for him. So Harold, please identify yourself and meet one of the volunteers to get to me so that we can give you your present. Congratulations one more time. Awesome. So Techstars made its first investment in Africa in 2015, and now it is the most active early stage investor in Africa and the world at large. Our keynote speaker for today is none other than Adetayo Bamiduro, the co-founder of Techstars' first portfolio company in Africa, Max.ng. Please give him a resounding round of applause as he comes on stage. Come on, let's give a shout. Let's give a whoop whoop. Let's give a whoop whoop. Awesome.
Yeah. All right, hey guys. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Very excited to be here. I have about 15 minutes, so I'll try to be very quick about it. Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay, we'll take a few seconds to move the platform in the center. Okay, so I and my co-founder Chinedu, we were very privileged to be, I guess, the first startup to be backed by Techstars back in 2015. We did the Techstars New York program, and that program began a transformation in our journey, provided us with the tools, the networks, the resources that we needed to build a transformational venture. Now, very quickly, I'll show you in one slide what that journey has looked like. The original company that we started focused on solving the last mile delivery problem, right? For some of us that remember, 2015 was about the time when e-commerce was starting to take off in Nigeria. We had companies like Jumia, Konga, etc. that were really growing very, very fast and providing a really exciting experience to people, which enabled them essentially to be able to buy stuff online and have it delivered to them, right? And on the back of that change that was going on in the e-commerce sector, I and Chinedu started Max to provide the last mile delivery infrastructure that was needed to support that growth. And of course, Techstars bought the story, thankfully, right? And then we did the program, right? Now, fast forward a couple of years in, about 2 years in, we evolved from a last mile delivery company to become a ride-hailing company that was focused on 2- and 3-wheelers, right? But very quickly, we learned a few lessons. One, of course, we had some regulatory challenges in Lagos, which was our only city at that point in time. But beyond that was the cost of customer acquisition and cost of retention, right? And we knew that ultimately, if we continued on that trajectory at scale, it was still going to be very difficult for us to ultimately turn a profit. So then, we reluctantly pivoted again, right? So the first pivot was going from a last mile delivery company to a ride-hailing platform. The second pivot was going from a ride-hailing marketplace platform to then become what we now call a vehicle subscription platform. And the thesis was very simple. After having worked with about 2,000 drivers at that point in time, we learned very quickly that the biggest pain point for them was having access to a vehicle or being able to finance a vehicle. Of course, there was some pushback from some of our existing investors at that point in time because financing assets, as we all know, is not cheap, right? It's a very capital-intensive endeavor to take on. But the evidence from our champions and from the customers that we had was overwhelming, right? What they said they needed was vehicle finance. And we didn't want to become a solution looking for a problem. I'm sure we're all familiar with what that is. So we ultimately made that shift. And eventually, we've gone from a company that had about 100 finance vehicles on our platform to over 33,000 now, right? 33,000 as at the end of last year. And what really helped power this transformation for us was a couple of things that I will talk about in the next slide. All right? Okay. Well, I think I'm having a little bit of a technical issue here. Okay, sorry. Okay, I think there's a bit of a delay in the response. Okay, all right. Okay, great. So here are 5 key things I'll talk about very quickly. Some critical lessons that have shaped our journey. One is understanding the industry dynamics, right? Originally, when we started, we thought about solving a very, very specific problem, but we didn't necessarily pay a lot of attention to the dynamics of the mobility and the transportation business, right? But ultimately, we learned very quickly that you cannot outperform your industry as a whole, right? Or a lot of the dynamics that impact on the industry that you are in ultimately will have some kind of impact on you. So by learning about the dynamics of the transport and mobility industry, that enabled us to fine-tune our business model and make the necessary pivots. The second thing is founder and team character, right? In that order. The character of the founding team, of course, determines everything, right? We all hear the cliche that investors, especially early stage, back teams, not necessarily ideas. And that remains true more than ever. So the character and the ethics and the value system of the founders provides the foundation for building a successful venture. And then next to that, of course, is the team around the founding team, because that team ultimately executes on that vision and takes it to scale. The third thing that we learned was around ensuring, especially in this part of the world, that what we were building ultimately would be a painkiller and not a vitamin. Because what we learned very quickly was that once there are economic pressures and people have less disposable income, the things that they dispose away with, the first thing that they stop spending money on are vitamins, right? Things that are nice to have, but not necessarily very critical. The fourth thing we learned was the infrastructure play. And when we talk about infrastructure, obviously, we're not just talking about like roads and bridges. We're talking about building out digital infrastructure or building out business models that provide the platform for other people to succeed. And very quickly, we realized that if we anchored other people's successes on our success, especially large corporations and businesses that were looking for strategic partnerships with us, and folks whose success ultimately will be linked to our own success, then that would become a massive tailwind for us. So shifting to thinking infrastructure played a very critical role in driving some of our pivots and some of the progress that we have made up until this day. And then last but not least is debt funding or raising debt, right? For many startups, you're wired to want to raise equity and get funding from people who believe in your dream and your vision. And that, of course, is extremely important. But I'd say more than half of all startups on the continent in some way have embedded finance within their play, which means you then need to figure out a way to invest in enabling your customers to be able to purchase your product. And with embedded finance, of course, you don't want to be funding that with your equity, right? You don't want to use your equity to do that. You want to use debt to do that. But the problem with debt is folks who provide you with debt don't care about your dream, right? They care about the operational efficiency of your business. They care about your track record. They care about your maturity, but they don't care about your dream. And that is it's a very unusual experience for founders because we are dreamers. That's how we are wired. So when you go talk to a debt investor or a bank and you tell them, oh, we have this big dream, they're looking at you like this and they're wondering what the hell you're talking about. But I think it's extremely important for us as venture builders as well, much, much earlier in our journey, to recognize that it's important to also start building capabilities to mobilize debt funding. All right. So moving on from our journey and Max's story to talking about the continent as a whole, is why Africa. One here is the fact that our continent is still predominantly informal. And when we say informal, what does that really mean? Informal just means that most of our commercial transactions are not necessarily following any standardized methodology, right? It means that most of our transactions are still not necessarily governed by any standards. And of course, this creates massive, massive opportunities for venture builders like us here in this audience today. Because what we're pretty much doing with technology is providing transparency where there was none. It's bringing about openness where there was none. And this is an abundance of needs, right? All of these gaps here, on the one hand, they look like massive challenges, and they really are. But on the other hand, they are massive opportunities. So you can, for some of us venture builders, we think, oh, there's so many innovators out there that are already solving problems in fintech, in health tech, in climate tech. But despite all the numerous quote-unquote ventures that are out there trying to solve these problems, the scale of the challenge still far outweighs the scale of the innovation that is happening today. So there's still a tremendous amount of opportunities and gaps that are waiting for us to solve. And then there are also other dynamics, like the demographic dynamic as well. Today, there are over 400 million young people on the continent. And by young people, I mean people between the ages of 15 to 35, right? Within the next 30 years or 26 years, as the case may be, that number will double. So it's an extremely youthful and young population that will continue to grow. And the question is, what are the products and services that these young people are going to need to fill some of those gaps in learning, in access to finance, in access to the right type of education, and so on. And then wrapping up with my last slide here is, it's not all doom and gloom, right? It's not all bad news. There's a lot of exciting tailwinds that provide a really powerful background for us to build large-scale, high-impact technology ventures. One is urbanization, right? Millions and millions of Africans are continuing to move from rural communities into urban communities in search of opportunities, right? They are moving away from old-school agriculture in search of new opportunities and services. And this, of course, is creating massive opportunities for us as innovators and venture builders. The second is the demography and talent, right? And I sort of spoke to that earlier around the number of young people that we have on the continent today and how that number is going to essentially double over the next 26 years. With a lot of young people, of course, comes a tremendous amount of talent, right? And that talent creates and provides a tremendous opportunity for us to bring in the sort of people that we need, right? No offense to older people, but of course we know it's always pretty difficult to teach an old dog a new trick, right? But with young people, very energetic, very open to learning, they're digital natives, right? It doesn't get any better than that. The fourth area is AI. And I think some of the conversation that's happening right now in the venture building and investor community is that we will ultimately start seeing one-person unicorns, right? Because if you thought about what it took to build a venture 5, 10 years ago, you had to hire a designer, you had to hire a bunch of people to be able to get your company off of the ground, right? But now, as a single founder, right, you can almost essentially build every single thing that you need with the sort of tools that are at your disposal. And then last but not least, of course, is climate change, right? And we all know Africa is the least contributor to climate change, but at the same time, the continent that is most vulnerable to the negative impacts of climate change. So there's a tremendous opportunity for us as innovators and venture builders, right? To leverage some of the dynamics and some of the funding that's been made available to sort of slow down the negative impacts of climate change for our venture builders and African innovators, right? And climate change goes way beyond just things like mobility, right? In almost every sector that you can think about, there are climate change implications and innovations that you can bring to market that would ultimately reverse the negative impact of climate change. So these four, amongst many others, are some of the tailwinds and trends that are increasingly making a very strong case for us to collectively, and when I say collectively, I mean venture builders and, of course, investors. I think I've spoken to a few of you already today, and I expect a lot of those checks to come out before the end of today to back the incredible innovators who are literally inventing Africa's future. So once again, congrats to all the amazing Techstars innovators, and hopefully together we can leave no African behind. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. Please put your hands together for him one more time. Okay, so I have an announcement. We noticed that we have people around and about, so please, we have free seats at the front or like in the audience. Please, can everyone sit down as we go into the next round of pitches, especially the founders. Please sit down or go to the next hall if you're having a conversation, because we're about to go into the next round of pitches and we don't want any other distractions. Thank you so much. So founders, please have your seat, and everyone else, please have a seat also, or go to the next hall for your conversations. Thank you so much. Okay, so with that said, please welcome on stage the head of ventures and MA at InterSwitch Group. Victor Sada. Woo! Let's give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Victor Sada, and I lead early stage investment and M&A at InterSwitch Group. Today, it's my greatest honor to introduce to you PBR Life Sciences. PBR, please clap. PBR is a data as a service company that's transforming healthcare through real-world data, technology, and people. Over the last 12 months, PBR has grown at an astronomical rate, and that's because beyond the fact that they're selling data, they're selling trust. And they've been able to build this trust with several players across the healthcare ecosystem, some of which are the biggest pharma companies today, such as Sanofi and Pfizer. Now, I believe the future of healthcare is data-driven, and I'm very confident that PBR will be one of those companies leading us to the future. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, because I'm not the founder, I'm the founder's Techstars mentor, please let's welcome on stage Ayodeji.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming out to listen to us. My name is Ayodeji, and I'm the founder and CEO of PBR Life Sciences. 2 months ago, year 2023, one pharmaceutical company in Lagos told us that they destroyed drugs worth $700,000. Not naira, dollars. Why? Because the product expired on them. Even more disturbing is that they had to pay the regulators to destroy the drugs. So they lost the product, and they are paying for the loss. This is not just only a problem for this pharma company. It's a big issue across Africa and emerging markets. Companies are losing up to $10 billion of products expiring on them in life sciences. If you go as far as Ethiopia, for example, and even Tanzania, they lose up to 20 to 40% of their product expiring on them. But really, what's the problem? And I'll talk about that later as we go. Data is the lifeblood. Imagine that you're a marketing manager or a managing director of a pharma company. You have no idea of what to manufacture. You have no idea of what to import. You have no idea of how to price. In other words, you're just guessing. Data is missing, and the industry is bleeding. Solving this problem is not just a benefit to companies, it's also a benefit to everyone because we are all investors. Why? Because with this problem, we can unlock up to $2.9 billion of revenue and opportunity that is available for us to play in. And guess what? The good thing is that there are very few companies, even if any, doing what we do, and you'll see more about that. Solving this problem is very hard. But the good news is that we've cracked it. It has taken us 3 years to learn what the secret is. And what's the secret? Data exists, even in life sciences and healthcare. But the problem is that data is sitting in silos. No one is aggregating and giving time to make this happen. So as a company, we work with different stakeholders, software providers, pharmacies, hospitals, ethically to leverage AI to collect this data and transform it. It used to take us 8 months to clean data. But with the power of AI, we have shortened that time to 20 minutes. I think my team deserves a round of applause. With this data, we have an unprecedented level of data that includes 46 million items traded, 10,000 products, and data on more than 1,800 companies. And this data increases by 3.2 million items every quarter. That's why we are so glad that we are helping companies to make better and smarter decisions with data through our platform that they subscribe to. Again, it's not just about data. It's the fact that the managing director of a company can sit down and be rest assured that the decision they take is backed by data and they won't lose money. And that's exactly what we do. We are not just doing this as a hobby. We are making money. Through our business model, we get companies to subscribe annually to the platform, and also we generate reports that we sell. And last but not the least, we also provide specific analysis. But the secret is in the fact that the data is the same, we're just selling it to multiple users, which brings our marginal cost to almost zero. We are paying customers, multinationals, local players, from whom we have learned a lot in the last 2 years. They have taught us what they want to see, and by that we have built an MVP, and I'm happy to say that this month we are launching even the version 2, where we are able to onboard even more companies going forward. Our growth trajectory is quite clear. It's measurable and verifiable. But what's even most exciting, and thanks to Techstars and Onyi and the rest of the team, we have grown our revenue by 300% versus the same time last year. Even more exciting is that in terms of our revenue for January and February 2024, we are already doing 65% of the total revenue in 2023. People get to ask me, Ayo, if this is so much a problem, why is nobody else solving it? Because it is very hard to do. And you have to be on ground to solve it. Which is why other players, with all due respect, we love them so much, they are not just doing better than us. Because we have real data that is every day, every week, every month, the whole year, and give clients full access to insight on ground. We are impacting lives. Up to 4 million patients have benefited from what we do. And we have helped companies to save and unlock value in terms of revenue. We're a very competent team. I have worked across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, selling big data to companies in the UK, in Europe, and in the US, and I know how to make this happen. But I'm not alone. I also have very competent team members. Yinka has worked across the whole of Sub-Saharan Africa, and Dr. Tess is a medical doctor with a passion for big data and AI. But what is the end goal? The end goal is more than product expiry. The end goal is the fact that the future of healthcare is data. Africa will now take its place in using data for drug discovery, healthcare financing, genomic studies, and even helping with new innovation in terms of health tech. We are building the future, and we've started now. If you're looking for us in the next 10 years, you are going to see us in these 20 countries, where we are playing in a market that is up to 20 billion and impacting 1,000 patients. So today is a very critical day. We have the opportunity to decide how life sciences will be like for the children and people that are coming in the future. We have the opportunity to invest and put money in a place that will make companies succeed and make patients healthier. Let us talk. I think we can build it together because it's possible.
Wonderful energy from the founder of PBR Life Sciences. Well done. Our next pitch is from Vind, who will be introduced by the ex-group executive director, commercial at Tangerine Africa. Please give a round of applause for Yewande Adewusi.
It's Lyric. Call the paramedic.
You see my dark shades on like I can see, but you know say me fancy you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, it's nice to be here. Yewande Adewusi. The only thing constant is change. So I've changed from where I was. I'm now COO at Alethea Capital. So reach out to me when you get a little bit bigger. But we are a gender-smart lens private equity fund, and we really are looking to support the companies when they're ready to go into the growth stage. I have had the privilege of working with Vida, and the first question I'm going to ask everyone is, what's the longest month of the year if you're looking at your cash flow? January, right? So the team at Vind are working to provide convenient credit on demand to those with verifiable income. So you know you're waiting for your paycheck, right? And all you need is a bridge to get you through the 2 weeks. And that's what Vind are doing in terms of making sure you have access to credit in an instant, but you need to have verified. And they're working with specific companies to do that. And I've always said the issue with lending and instant lending is collections, right? You can be giving out money on your mobile phone, but if you have no way to collect it, that's where the problem lies. And they figured out that solution to making sure you can repay, they can get their collections and have the money flow back in. Performance to date has been excellent over the past 3 years. $18 million dispersed to over 300,000 individuals with an NPL, non-performing loans, let me not use acronyms that people might not know, 3.3%. So they're showing that there's traction with what they put on ground. So I've been so happy to work with Femi and Ebenezer on this project, and I'm happy to invite Femi Olanipeku, the co-founder and CEO of Vind. Thank you.
It's Kelpie Vibes.
Good afternoon. Olufemi, and I'm the CEO at Vind. First, thank you for making it to this event. You guys are awesome. Meet Juliet. Juliet is an employee who is underpaid. And sometimes our salary gets delayed. Like you and I, Juliet has dreams. She wants to be able to afford some good things of life. She needs access to credits. But today, Juliet can't access credit because she doesn't have a credit history. And due to that, the banks can't serve her. Compared to 79% of Latin Americans that have their data on the credit bureau, only 11% of Africans have their data on the credit bureau. And due to this, banks see this kind of customers as high-risk customers who need to provide collateral which customers like Juliet don't have. And when they eventually get a loan, payment is an issue because the current repayment channels are unreliable. There is a lot of issues around failed payments. And for Juliet to make repayments, sometimes she needs to move money from one account to another account, or when a payment trigger is supposed to take money automatically from her account, another expense has taken that fund. Now, when that happens, it usually occurs, it results in default. And the lenders harass Juliet. Sometimes they send her SMS that harass her and shame her on social media. There are 400 million other Juliets in Africa today who cannot access credits because data is fragmented and payment doesn't work. Deduction of the repayments is a big issue for other lenders who does not do what Vind has done to solve this problem. At Vind, we provide on-demand access to funds for borrowers like Juliet, who has a verifiable income source. And we use a unique ecosystem approach, which allows us to have access to data and also deduct repayments from the source of income of Juliet, which solves the problem of collections for us at Vind. Now, talking about ecosystems. Ecosystem is a place where businesses and consumers, they earn, they leave transactional footprints, and where Vind can deduct from the source of income of the borrowers. Today, the market is very big. For Africa, it's a $7 billion market. If we are looking at South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria, it's a $3 billion market. But if we come down to Nigeria, targeting just 5% of the Nigerian market, we can make a revenue of up to $600 million. Currently, we get our customers via SMS marketing. But we plan to grow by leveraging commission-based agents who can speak the language of our borrowers, who can be more intimate with the borrowers, and who will enable us to grow and also educate those customers and show some empathy and provide financial services that fit their needs where they are. Our customers love us because we are very convenient to use. We are available via mobile, USSD, and also web. But our customers love our USSD channel so much because they don't require internet to access credits. They can access it right in their farm or wherever they find themselves in need of credit. Credit decision is instant on Vind compared to other providers, and disbursement takes less than 1 minute. Our partnership with banks ensures that we do not run out of funds to serve borrowers like Juliet. We run an interest-based income model where we charge an interest rate for each disbursement to borrowers like Juliet. The team has a combined experience of around 15 years, and this experience is across payments and credits. We've been involved in some of the products you know and love today, from Flutterwave to Pay with Capture and Carbon. We are backed by some amazing investors: Techstars, Magic Fund, Votron Capital, and some other interesting African investors. So far, we've disbursed more than $80 million and served more than 314,000 borrowers since 2021 that we launched. We make $50,000 monthly, and we are cash flow positive. All this success has been on our payroll ecosystem, where we can access salary history data and deduct payments when employees get paid every month. Our NPL rate is low, it's at 3.3%, compared to some banks' 20.9%, talking about consumer finance portfolio, and 69% for some digital lenders. We plan to create more ecosystem so that we can provide credit to those who have been previously excluded by the current players. We plan to create the payments ecosystem where we can use payment transaction data to make credit decisions and deduct repayments directly from settlements of SMEs and other businesses within the payment ecosystem. We plan to create the education ecosystem, the logistic ecosystem, and the cooperative society ecosystem, which will give us a path to serving those people in the informal sector. Credit is a basic necessity that everybody needs access to. I need access to credit, and you all need access to credit. It will drive prosperity in Africa. Join us as we increase its accessibility. Thank you.
Put your hands together for him one more time. Fantastic job by the co-founder of Vind. A quick announcement, please. We have vacant seats. We have guests that have left. So for those of us standing at the back, please come have a seat. The founders and their team members that are standing, please also have your seat or go to the other hall room for your conversations. We have a lot of people at the back now, please. Thank you so much. So moving on to the next startup, to welcome them on stage, please give a round of applause to the sales lead at Paystack, Charles Edom. A round of applause, come on.
It work? Okay, fantastic. That's a setup. I did see that song coming. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles, and I'm here to introduce to you One Plan. So the product is all in the name. One Plan is a financial services product that is targeted at workers in the informal sector. And what do? They provide savings, credit, and pensions all in one plan to the average informal sector worker to enable them meet their needs from a credit standpoint to drive their businesses and also to plan for the future. I've had the privilege of working with the team in the last few months, and I must say that they've done an amazing job in building what they've built so far. In the last month alone, they've obtained a license from the regulator in Ghana, and anyone who knows anything about licensing knows that that's a big deal. And as well, they've launched their product and also signed up about 3,000 customers thus far. Yeah, please. So why are these guys the best to do the job? They come ready, they have the right experience, they've built similar products in their past careers, and so Harold and Nana are very well equipped to take this business forward. And I strongly believe that in the years to come, we'll be hearing a lot about them as they execute. So without further ado, Harold.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Harold. I'm the founder and CEO of One Plan. Today, I'd like to walk you through my customer's problem and our solution to it through a real-life scenario. Behind me is Ben. Ben has been a mechanic for the past 5 years and is always looking for new ways to improve his trade, typically by purchasing new tools and equipment to better serve his customers. Now, in the first 2 years of his life as a mechanic, he found this very difficult to do because he had very little to withdraw from his short-term savings. He had a very low incentive to save in the long term, given that his working capital will be trapped for a very long period of time with very low utility. And accessing credit at a reasonable interest rate was very difficult, given that he had no collateral and no real business history to leverage on. This only left predatory lenders who would charge exorbitantly high interest rates, which if he took, would destroy not only his trade, but his life. So Ben was stuck. This was until a One Plan agent approached him, got him registered onto our product, and since then, he's been able to save a portion of his income towards his retirement savings on a regular basis. And whenever he needs to make these critical purchases for his trade, he simply uses a portion of it as collateral to access credit at a very low interest rate. This way, his retirement savings can compound in the long term while he grows his trade in a very sustainable way. This is One Plan. At One Plan, we help people working mainly in the informal economy build their short and long-term savings that they can then use as collateral to access credit at a very low interest rate. My partner and I have over 15 years, over a decade's worth of experience in finance, and most of our insight that we used to build this solution came when we were managers growing Ghana's largest micro-pension scheme to approximately 500,000 users, with assets under management exceeding $18 million. So this isn't our first time doing this. Across Africa, there are over 400 million people working in the informal economy in very diverse professions, all looking for ways to solve their challenges around credit and savings. Our plan to acquire them in a cost-effective way is through an expansive agent network while partnering with many profession-based associations, groups, and cooperatives. In Ghana and Ivory Coast alone, there is a $150 million a year opportunity in providing our solution to over 10 million people who are facing these challenges around credit and savings. We make money on our two products in these ways. On our pension product, we charge an asset management fee on the retirement savings and financial assets we manage for them. We also help our customers create wills to protect these financial assets. On the loan product, we have a revenue share agreement with our lending capital partners, typically banks, on the interest income on the loans we provide to our customers. We add unique value to people in the informal economy mainly in these three ways. Our ultra-flexible savings. Our savings are flexible not only in how often they can contribute, how frequently, and for how long, but also in the fact that they can use it as collateral to access credit at a very low interest rate with very flexible credit terms. And finally, our offline product, our will. This way, it's culturally relevant and extremely valuable to our customers in order for us to build trust with them. Since getting our pension license at the beginning of this year, we've launched in Ghana. We're currently fast approaching 3,000 registered customers that we've acquired through 50 agents and are on course to hit 500,000 customers before this year ends. We believe that in 5 years' time, OnePlan will be helping over 15 million people in 5 African markets take care of their families, build their trade, and grow their wealth to finance their futures and take care of their families. Thank you very much.
Fantastic job, Team OnePlan. Put your hands together for him. Awesome job. To introduce our next startup, please welcome on stage Partner People Consulting Leader West Africa at EY, Lola Esson. Let's put our hands together, come on.
Initiating rage process.
Hi everyone, my name is Lola Esson. I'm a partner at Ernst & Young. What if I told you that the world's largest supermarket actually started as a neighborhood convenience store? But despite our population and the popularity of trading, we somehow are yet to find a convenience store in Nigeria and Africa scale to the same level. But fortunately, we have 24/7 changing that narrative. Born out of a personal experience, watching his mom struggle with the challenges of raising a business and also providing for the family, 24/7 is on the plan to create a path for up to 50 million convenience stores across Nigeria and Africa by providing access to inventory on credit and also offering them same-day delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a huge pleasure to welcome on stage a visionary who is changing the narrative and by chance also changing the opportunities for more to come on board and become conglomerates. Please join me in resounding welcome for Olufemi Ido, the CEO of 24/7.
Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be sharing with you on how 24/7 has been able to solve the biggest headache faced by small business owners with a mission to unlock their retail potential. Growing up was a roller coaster for me, having to help my mom with her commodity business. And for a decade, she had a flat sales. She was unable to scale. She couldn't replicate her store. Fast forward to date, we still have more than 50 million small business owners in Africa, just like my mom, going through this same headache. Restocking is a real pain. It is costly. It turns into their time. An average small business owner will travel 20 kilometers to different distributors to go buy inventory. Having done that, she has to find a rider that helps her to deliver to her store. Now, to make it worse, while she's on this trip, she has to lock her store, and she's losing 60% of her revenue. Now, this is the kicker. She makes this trip twice averagely every week because she's short of cash to buy the inventory that will last her for a week or two. This is a real problem. At 24/7, we make it all easy. We give these small business owners the opportunity to place order on credit, and it is being delivered to them same day at the best prices. Now, the problem faced by small business owners is not a standalone problem. It's as a result of the inefficiency in the value chain. The inefficiency in the value chain costs $3 billion. At 24/7, our end-to-end solution provides and addresses pain point for each stakeholders in the value chain, starting from the distributors, helping them with their procurement, inventory management, down to the retailers, helping them with to finance their inventory, and even to our riders, where we help them to get high-value rides to earn more income. Africa is the next growth frontier, fueled by a burgeoning population. The fast-moving consumer space is worth $20 trillion. At 24/7, we aim to target 5,000 distributors, 50,000 small business owners to obtain a sizable market of $200 million. Now, our numbers shows that we've been successful. We hit the ground September 2022 with a revenue of $9,000. We have grown month on month 25%. At the end of December 2023, we have grown our GMV to $30 million with a revenue of $700,000. We are not close to meeting our targets. We operate just in 7 cities. As of today, month on month, we have an unmet demand to finance inventory worth $3 million. In as much as we are big on impact investing, we strive to make our business grow sustainably. Aggregately, on every order placed on the system, we make 7.5%. And to be specific, on our retailers, we make 4% on inventory commission. On our distributors, on every product purchased from them, we make a rebate of 3%. Now, this is a big place. It's a big market. We see quite some incredible names playing in this space, but this is what differentiates us. Competitions operate a central distribution center. But for us at 24/7, our ability to partner with distributors, retailers, grant us access to the existing capacity in the ecosystem, such as warehouses and riders. With this, we can deliver at best prices, fastest, we can take product to anywhere, any place, at any time. Now, I've been able to lead this team not just because of my first-hand experience working with my mom, but post my MBA, I have worked with the big brands, the flour mills, the Olam, the Dangote, understanding the nitty-gritty of supply chain, knowing exactly how product move from manufacturer down to the last mile. Michael here, my CTO, has built technological infrastructures for big banks, CRM, ERPs for financial institutions. Now, small businesses, they contribute more than 50% to the GDP of Africa, yet they are sidelined with little or no support. At 24/7, our mission is to propel this SME business to drive the growth of Africa sustainably. Thank you very much.
Great energy from the founder of 24/7. That was awesome. Our next mentor flew in from Nairobi to support his mentees. Please welcome on stage the dedicated Jasil Martin Odum, Africa Investment Officer at Asion Labs. Put your hands together for him as he comes on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, my name is Jasil, and I am the Africa Investment Officer for Action Venture Lab. Action Venture Lab is an early-stage fintech investor focused on emerging markets. And over the last few weeks, I've had the privilege of working with the Serge Africa team, and today I'm excited to share their vision with you. Serge Africa is solving a problem that you and I are very familiar with, transforming intra-Africa payments for individuals and businesses who need to make payments in local currencies within Africa. Their solution is not only instant, but also affordable. The team at Serge Africa is the right team to tackle this problem because they have worked at the top 2 payments companies in Africa, TerraPay and Honafreak, formerly known as MFS Africa. Without further ado, allow me to introduce to you the CEO and co-founder of Serge Africa, Kumar Shurav.
This ain't a song for the broken hearted. I need this.
Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. I'm Kumar, founder and CEO of Serge Africa. So, sometime last year, I met Abdul, a small-time shopkeeper in Kisumu, Kenya, on the borders of Kenya and Uganda. Abdul imports shoes from Uganda and sells locally. And as we began chatting, he explained to me with great pain how every time he has to import shoes from Uganda, he has to stash bundles of cash in a plastic bag, get onto a bus, cross the border, exchange his Kenya shillings to Ugandan shillings, and then wait for a week for the goods to be shipped to him. And in doing all of this, he still has to pay exorbitant amount of fees, wait for that week, and on top of all this, risk his life in carrying so much cash. But this is not just the problem of Abdul. Several million micro-entrepreneurs and MSMEs across the continent go through this hurdle day in and day out. And this primarily happens because African currencies don't speak to each other. So, for the money to move from one African country to another, it first has to get converted to a dollar, GBP, or euro, and then come back reconverted to the destination currency. And because of this dual conversion, you lose out on fees, you lose out on FX, and on top of that, it also takes anywhere between 3 to 5 business days for the beneficiary to receive the money. In fact, I was so devastated after this experience that I came back and immediately spoke to Ibrahim, who was back then working as the head of software engineering at MFS Africa, brainwashed him and motivated him to come together to start what we now call as Serge Africa. Serge Africa is on a mission to make these payments instant and much more affordable. And we do that by concentrating on pair of markets where you can match the inflows and the outflows. What that means is it helps us eliminate use of dollars. Therefore, it allows us to keep our cost much lower. It allows us to make these payments instant. In terms of our market size, it's roughly a $45 billion annual revenue opportunity across Africa. And we are confident to capture $250 million in annual revenue in the 5th year of operation, courtesy our partnerships with Pan-African banks, local payment gateways, and converting our initial set of customers as our distributors and at key hotspot areas. Well, the competition is dominated by the legacy banks, which have always been costly and slow. A lot of fintech, and in fact, I get told this quite often that it's a very crowded space. But the catch here is most of these fintechs are concentrating on Africa to rest of the world and not intra-Africa. And then there are these mobile wallet players, especially in East Africa, who are instant, but at the same time, they cannot facilitate cross-border trade within Africa because of the usually higher ticket sizes associated with them. Serge Africa makes these payments instant, affordable, and we acquire customers directly. So we are retail as compared to some of the other B2B infrastructure players. In terms of our business model, we charge a small transaction fee and a small spread on the FX. And in total, we are 80% more affordable than all our competitors. The team. Ibrahim and I, like I said, we led engineering and commercial teams at MFS Africa prior to starting Serge Africa. I was also one of the founding team members at TerraPay. And between Ibrahim and I, we have 25 years of experience across 20 markets of Africa, navigating regulatory, licensing, business development, marketing, customer acquisition, tech. So in essence, everything that is required to make this business a success. In the past 3 months, since joining Techstars, we have managed to have partnerships across the whole of East Africa. So Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Zambia. We managed to build our product. Extremely excited to also tell you that we managed to secure more than $400,000 in pre-seed investments within the first 2 weeks of joining Techstars. And we also have 2,000 customers registered on our wait list. And I'm extremely, extremely happy to announce today that we have just launched our private beta across Kenya and Uganda. The app is, by the way, also available here in Nigeria. So please register yourselves so that once we launch, you can start using it immediately. But what about Abdul? Abdul one day dreams of sending his kids abroad for studies and to set up his shop across the whole of East Africa. At Serge Africa, our vision is to connect every corner of Africa with instant and affordable payments. So please download the app today and join us in our journey of fostering financial empowerment and financial stability for our Mother Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Serge. Put your hands together for him one more time. That was awesome. So, our final pitch from today is from a founder building in the e-commerce sector, and he will be introduced by the co-founder and chief marketing officer at PiggyVest. Please welcome on stage, Joshua Chibueze. Let's give him a shout. Come on, come on.
If you know, you know.
Hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Joshua Chibueze, one of the co-founders and CMO at PiggyTech, the parent company of PiggyVest and Pocket App, as you all know. So very quickly, I met Tunde at the Mentor Magic session, and it was very inspiring. I liked the story and what he was building. I also liked the fact that he was a third-time founder, and that resonated very personally with me because I know how long we had to try before we got it right with PiggyVest. I really like what he's building. He's trying to make shopping experiences for consumers more interesting and even provide a lot more for the businesses. Tunde is a very, very great person. I've been following up with him. And another thing, again, that was very interesting was we're able to see how we could actually work with him directly. So by providing him with like our wallet and treasury API as a service for him to power his business. So that was very exciting for me. And we've had discussions on that already. So I'm excited to introduce Tunde to you to come and tell you all about Jump and Pass. Thank you.
The emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Zobu, zobu, enyimba,
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to start my pitch today by asking you all a question. Now, have you ever been to the supermarket? And on getting there, you see those long, annoying queues. And you say to yourself, not today, Satan. And you take the next exit out of the store. The truth is, you're not alone in this. It is a global problem, costing modern retailers $284 billion annually in lost revenue. Africans spend 40 billion hours every year waiting in line to make payments. It is estimated that you will spend 4 months of your entire lifespan waiting in queues. How much will you pay to get a chunk of your life back? My name is Tunde Ademuyiwa. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Jump and Pass. And at Jump and Pass, we have built a mobile self-checkout platform that makes it possible for you to walk into a supermarket, use your mobile phone to scan product barcodes, make payments, get the receipt, and walk out of the store, avoiding those long, annoying lines. What we have built is an end-to-end platform that takes care of shoppers, retailers, and the brands. For the shoppers, we provide them with convenience and the opportunity to earn an interest on their wallet deposits. For the retailers, we provide them with consumer insights and the opportunity to get access to collateral-free inventory financing via our platform. And lastly, for the brands, we provide them with unparalleled data that grants them direct access to their end users. All of this is beautiful, but guess what? We still make money. From the shopper, we charge a convenience fee of 15 cents every time you jump the queue. We also get to earn up to 18% interest on their wallet deposits. For the retailers, we charge up a 1.5% origination fee every single time they get loans via our platform. And for the brands, we charge them 20 cents for every single time. We charge them 20 cents for 1,000 products recommended. And we also get to charge them 15% on every marketing run through our platform. Today, the other options that exist for the shopper includes the e-commerce online shopping and the cashier. However, 95% of shopping still happens in brick and mortar store. And there, our only competition is the cashier, which you do not like. We have a total addressable market of $4 billion across Africa, but we have a 5-year target of $121 million, getting that through 6 million shoppers, 1,200 stores, and 1,750 brands. When we got into Techstars, we just had 2 stores. In the last 3 months, we've grown from 2 stores to 42 stores. That is a 2,000% growth and $128,000 in process value. All of this was made possible by a stellar team. I myself, I'm a veteran entrepreneur. I've been building startups for the last 11 years. I got my first patent 8 years ago. And my last startup, KakiaPrint.com, I was able to scale it from Nigeria to South Africa to the US and Canada. By my side is my co-founder, Kudus. We've been friends from uni. He has about 15 years experience working with banks, Access, FCMB, and all the likes across Africa. And on the product side, I have Dami Wedele, who has phenomenal experience working with Amazon and Whole Foods. And of course, Salma, with experience from EY and Capgemini. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you all to join us as we become the single source of truth for modern retail data. Thank you.
Fantastic job at Team Jump and Pass. And can we give all 12 startups another round of applause? It takes a lot of courage to choose the path of entrepreneurship. African founders are some of the most resilient founders in the world. And these founders are solving key problems. So it's fantastic that they could come up here and show us what they have for us. So now we are at the tail end of the event. And this event would not be possible without our partner, ARM Holdco. Can we give them a round of applause and a shout? And to take the first closing address, please welcome to the stage Sadiq Muhammad, Deputy Group CEO of ARM Holdco. Let's give him a round of applause and a shout.
Good evening, everyone. I'm always excited listening to the 12 startups and 25 founders, I think. I've listened to them a couple of times, but every time I'm always very excited. I'm Sadiq Mohammed, Deputy Group CEO at ARM. Thankfully, the umpire has mentioned ARM. I thought ARM wasn't going to be mentioned, even though we write the checks. So it's important to do that. Let me start with why did we get into this? First of all, I think we wanted to understand what's happening in the ecosystem so that we're not left behind, because it's a competitive environment and we're in a competitive business. So we needed to understand and see where we would play. For our own benefit, first of all, improve our products and services, as well as our processes internally. Secondly, we wanted an opportunity to offer a new asset class to our clients such that they should be able to participate in what is happening in this space, allocate maybe 5%, 2% of their portfolio into this kind of startups for those that can stomach it in terms of risk. The third was basically to be able to help build the ecosystem and contribute our own quota, which is more altruistic, if you like. That's how we got into it, and we thought about who do we partner with, and we thought eventually we arrived at Techstars, and we partnered. This is the second cohort, and hopefully we'll continue to do that. I would like to just mention a few things, provide some context and perspective to some of the things that have been mentioned earlier in closing. One is the market. As most people in the capital markets and even private markets know, markets come in cycles, peaks and troughs, and you want to be able to enter at the lower ground floor, if you like. And these corrections give you an opportunity to do that. So they are not bad in themselves, because what is happening today provides an opportunity for investors, VCs and other investors alike, to be able to get in when all the shakeout has happened and assets are priced appropriately. It also offers an opportunity for founders to be singled out on what would work. So all the hype disappears to some extent, and you are able to only back some of the best ideas around. If you actually check the profile of the founders, they're much older than the first cohort. And there's a reason. Maybe this shakeout has brought out people that are much more experienced. They tend to be subject matter experts in their own fields, and hopefully have now gone into a startup like PBR and so on. And hopefully that gives more solidity in terms of the startups that we're backing going forward. So it's not all bad in itself. The next item is the FX. I think some of us that have been around for a while, we remember Abacha's time when it was 22 naira to the dollar. And eventually it went to 80 or 90, and then, so a fourfold devaluation had happened in the past. But after Abacha and even Obasanjo, companies that did very well came along. A lot of companies that we have mentioned today, Paystack, and so on. So there's still an opportunity for those startups to do well, and even other businesses. And then finally, let me talk about the macro. I think however bad the macro, there would always be good businesses. We all know Blackwater. Blackwater actually has a business in Iraq and so on, with all the chaos, but that's what they thrive in. Now, if Blackwater can have a business to run, then every other thing can be much more manageable, if you like. So looking at what is happening today, the insecurity, the opportunities there to solve that on behalf of whoever is in charge of insecurity in Nigeria. And when I say Nigeria, I'm also projecting into other African countries. 2, food insecurity. We're all talking about prices of food and so on. So there's an opportunity also in that space. I haven't seen a lot happen there. There are a few here and there in terms of startups that are focused in that area. But that's an opportunity. The third, which is much wider, I think, is the FX area. I'll call it import substitution. Actually, the most successful businessmen in Nigeria do import substitution, really. Dangote, Bua, and so on. It's import substitution. I understand they're obsessed with our import bill. And they look at it and they say, okay, this is $15 billion. I want to own $15 billion in cement and petroleum products and so on. So there's an opportunity for import substitution. Yesterday we were chatting about software. And the Starlink guy mentioned that he pays a lot on on software. So there is an opportunity to substitute those softwares that we have from Microsoft and so on, the whole spectrum, and even hardware beyond software. A lot of areas, now finally, I think there's also, things like business process outsourcing and so on and so forth. But there's also a couple of sectors that I believe are virgin that I haven't seen startups around there. Maybe it's just me. I haven't seen much in maritime. I haven't seen much in oil and gas. But those are dollar-earning businesses. So chances are, if you're providing a solution to a maritime business, they may pay you in dollars. If you're providing a solution to oil and gas, chances are you get paid in dollars. So I think there are a lot of opportunities, and I'm hoping that the next cohort will see some of those opportunities coming out, which we'll back. Thank you, everyone, for the long hours and for listening to 12 startups and 25 founders. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that wonderful speech. Finally, we have reached the end. Before we take the final closing address, can all the founders please be seated, as we will be having group photos immediately after the event, or rather immediately after the closing address. All founders should please be seated so that we can have group pictures on the stage after the closing address. So, thank you so much for sticking with us. Please welcome back on stage Oyin Sholebo as she delivers the final closing address. Put your hands together.
I'm a piano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know.
Hello, is this on? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you very much. With that, we are almost at an end for our demo day. Please join me one more time to congratulate our ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator class for 2023. All right. Please also just give me a few moments while we make some very important thank yous. Give me one moment. Shall I?
I'm a piano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know.
Hello, okay, I think that's better. Apologies, everybody. Right, please allow me to say some very important thank yous. So, Techstars is a mentor-led program, which means that our founders have the privilege to meet and work with some incredibly talented and experienced individuals. Every day during our program, we have been joined by mentors and guest speakers who have given their time freely to support our founders. Thank you so much to all of you. There are over 120 of you that have provided that kind of support for this specific program, so impossible for us to name all of them, but thank you, because without you, this would not have been such a rich experience. I'd like to also thank our global network partners, AWS, Brex, Google, and Deal. These organizations provide our founders with workshops and office hours, and I would like to particularly thank AWS, who sponsored our London recruiting event where we met a couple of these guys, and Brex for sponsoring our investor dinner earlier this year. Thank you. Now, as we have said a number of times, this program could not be possible without ARM Labs and ARM. ARM are an example of how titans of industry can promote entrepreneurship and innovation. I'd like to in particular thank the executive committee and senior leaders at ARM, Jumoke Ogundare, Sadiq Mohammed, Uche Azubuike, Wale Odutola, and Ina Ologui for their continued partnership. I would also like to give a special shout out to Damilare Mesimo and Madupe Durasimi Eti, who have been working really closely with us on this program. Thank you. we are also joined for this particular program by entrepreneurs in residence and an associate team. So I would like to thank Tunde Kehinde and Spectra Asala, who have been our entrepreneurs in residence, providing additional counseling and mentoring to our founders. Thank you. Now, every day, we have been joined by an extended program team of associates. So I would love to call to the stage, wherever you guys are, Daniel Chinobe, Tony Ajayi, and Kingsley Amer. Please join me on the stage, guys. So these are our associates. Daniel is our operations associate and has made sure that everything goes smoothly. I'm sure he's running around doing that right now. Tony is our content associate, so all of the visuals and all of the written content you have seen have been created by Tony. And Kingsley has been working really closely with our founders to get them investment ready. Thank you so much, guys. I would also like to thank a number of volunteers who are here today. Volunteers, if you're here, please do also join us on stage. So these volunteers have joined us today to make sure that everything has gone smoothly. And I'd like to in particular give a shout out to our moderator, Elton. Please do join us on stage. Now, the biggest thank you I must give is to this individual here. Oluwadini Fanibe is our program manager. And genuinely speaking, if it wasn't for her, I would have some sleepless nights. She manages everything from managing our sourcing events, to managing our relationships with mentors, to making sure that we have a smooth program, to organizing this event that you are sitting in right now. So thank you so much, Oluwadini. Where are you? Okay, all right. Okay. Right, now the last couple of things. If you are a founder in the room, or if you know an awesome founder who you think could benefit from and be an awesome fit for our next program, please scan this QR code and tell us about them. We would love to hear about that company. And finally, a big thank you has to go to the founders who chose the ARM Labs Lagos Techstars Accelerator. You guys are fantastic. I'm so proud of everything that you've achieved. Thank you for choosing us, and thank you for your hard work and passion and dedication. And thank you to your extended teams and your partners who have supported you during this time. And with that, we are over for another demo day. Thank you so much again for all of you in the room. For those of you online, thank you for joining us. If you are in the room, please do not leave. Please go and meet the startups in their booths and join us for a reception just next door. Thank you.
Many girls with them, they come from away. AJ boys and they like to throw away.
Okay, so please can our founders come on stage. Let's take the group pictures. Let's put our hands together for them as they come on stage. Please, all our executives from ARM, please just wait for a brief minute. We have a networking event and cocktails, finger foods in the other hall, so you could just make your way there. We'll be happy to host you. Please don't leave yet. It's not over yet. We have drinks, we have finger foods in the other hall, so just make your way there. Thank you so much.
We just having fun. We won't carry on.
thunder, 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 thunder.
Àlàyé mi bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ kan kí ló ń lọ. Bó máa rí ìyàwó rẹ̀ mi lọ ń sọ. Wọ́n ní mo give them pressure, pressure. Ó jẹ́ má lọ sùn ṣiṣẹ́ lọ, mo yà pa ó lọ. Nobody go dey when sapa done too much. Ẹni tó bá bá aṣọ òun ṣá ló mọ̀. Gàbogàbo lọ, ọmọ bá ṣì ń lọ. Ìsídèlé kan sì dé hot. Happiness, everythingness. My life no stress. Fine boy no ex. Happiness, everythingness. My life no stress. Òtútù, ó wọlé o. Pàkàrà sí mi alákọ̀ọ́rí o. Ohun tó ń ṣe yín kọ́ ló ń ṣe mí o. Ẹjẹ́ lọ mọ̀ nǹkan ṣe ànúbì novice. Yépa, yépo, àṣàmọ̀dì. Ọ̀gá no dey form of wasabi. Microscopy, as you can see, àbí zombies kò kàn mí. Òtútù, ó wọlé o. Pàkàrà sí mi alákọ̀ọ́rí o. Ohun tó ń ṣe yín kọ́ ló ń ṣe mí o. Ẹjẹ́ lọ mọ̀ nǹkan ṣe ànúbì novice. Yépa, yépo, àṣàmọ̀dì. Ọ̀gá no dey form of wasabi. Microscopy, as you can see, àbí zombies kò kàn mí.
But your birthstone, you an earth tone. I miss and need you bad, baby, come home. You want me make it happen, baby, I know. Want me to keep you happy, baby, I know. Penthouse, condo, gonna one, I'm a piano. You want me make it happen, baby, I know. I'm here to make you smile when you feel low.
Happiness, everythingness. My life no stress. Fine boy no ex.
Happiness, it's a feeling. Your life no stress.
Which kind life where I never see? I carry God so I fear nothing. Steady increase in the commas. Original no be parody. You know fit clear for your memory. Whether na winter or summer. I did Papa just Savannah. Living life, see my fire burning bright within the inside me. Smally way they mighty, they never know I color. To remove fight, check and balance everything inside my mind.
Baby, now the way that you talk and the things that you say, where they make I feel alright. And I got your vibe anytime that I look in your face. Tell me why I look so fine. Baby girl, I see you. Wanna ride you like a bicycle. Now you they blow my mind from a mile or two. And I no go lie, you light up my day. And when she tell me my love is you love, baby. She know when the Gucci bag or the Fendi. Yeah, she give me butterflies in my belly. Ooh, love. And when she tell me my love is you love, baby. If my was running, baby, she gon' save me. Yeah, she give me butterflies in my belly. Ooh, love, her love is crazy, girl, her love is crazy. You amaze me, girl, you amaze me. All the girls, them only really want to play me. But when me there with you, I realize your love is crazy. You amaze me, girl, you amaze me. All the girls, them only really want to play me. But when me there with you, I realize your
best indeed, you're the best indeed. When I see you, I feel blessed indeed. Only you bring out the best in me. Loving you, it be my destiny. Oh no, I don't know if you love me like I do. Now you light my fire too.
We're having a cocktail event in the next hall, so would love for everyone to head there now. Thank you very much. So we're having a cocktail event in the next hall. love for everyone to move there. Thank you so much.
Oh my baby, your love is foreign. Give me loving, no good on you. You see your body carry something I never understand. I must confess, your body very offensive. It is scatter my defense, yo.